Today we go over Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zier here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, Episode 9 is going to serve as the final film of this trilogy, which, by the way, I do have a gut feeling that Episode 9 is going to be the best film of the sequel trilogy, kind of like how Revenge of the Sith is the best film of the prequel trilogy. At least I think it's safe to say that for a majority of Star Wars fans out there. But looking at Episode 9 and where everything is going with J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, it seems as so that they are bringing in tons of new characters. So far we have a total of 7 new characters coming into Episode 9, which honestly I think that some of those characters have to be grouped up together in one scene in order to save a lot of screen time for our characters. Rey, KYLO, Luke, Leia, Lando, list goes on, Finn, Poe. But looking at everything that we have been learning these past couple of weeks for Episode 9, ranging from the set leaks and the scene schedules and the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc., one of which has all to do with a description of Han Solo and Kylo Ren, or should I say Ben Solo, in Episode 9. Specifically, a young boy reaching out, lifting what appears to be a set of boulders outside. Behind him stands Leia and a shaded figure wearing Han Solo's clothing. Another description goes over the young boy on board of the Falcon in the cockpit. On the left stands Han. On the right sits Chewie. Han's face is actually shadowed out. Now, I wanted to go over a couple of things here. Now, I think that we heard about this lightly in one of the Solo books. I'm not quite sure. But I think it does go over a little segment of Ben Solo's childhood, and it seems as though that they could very well be exploring this in Episode 9. Now, there were a lot of rumors that they cast a young toddler that is a boy. The girl, we think, is either the daughter of Rey, or quite possibly even a younger version of Rey, or maybe a, person that she's training in order to become a Jedi. Now, as far as the rumored boy that has been cast for Episode 9, I think that that falls right in line with the Episode 9 description of Han Solo, Leia, and Ben. Now, the fact that they keep shadowing out him, apparently, from some of the descriptions for Episode 9, tells us that Han Solo, even if he is going to be in this film, and if that actually does come into fruition, it won't be Harrison Ford. They'll most likely obscure his face, and they'll kind of make it blurred out, or they'll put him in the shadows or something like that, kind of like how they did Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader in his Bacta tank in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Do you guys remember this? They had him in a tank, we all wanted to see his face, or at least a little something. And we only got to see the side of his face for literally 1.5 seconds, where you just see his ear, and then you just see the fluid draining more, and that was it. I mean, heck, in that movie, we didn't even see his limbs, too much, pretty much taken off. But looking at Episode 9 and all, between Han Solo and Kylo Ren and Leia, that is a dynamic that I think a lot of fans want to see. Well, because it would make the scene in The Force Awakens a whole lot more emotional when Han's death actually comes into play in that movie. Now, I will say that I'm not, a person to say that that scene was not emotional, but I will say it could have been a whole lot more emotional to the audience if we at least had a scene or two between both Ben Solo / Kylo Ren and Han Solo prior to Han Solo's death. Now, to me, it's kind of like Ben first met his father, at least to the audience. I don't know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me on that, but that's how I felt, where we didn't really feel a huge amount of emotion when Han was killed. Well, yeah, sure, we felt bad for the character, but it wasn't so much emotional between the two characters, is what I'm trying to say, at least in my eyes. That's my opinion. Whereas, if they saved Han Solo's death for The Last Jedi, I think it would have made a whole lot more sense, where both Kylo and Han, they could have had scenes together here and there in The Force Awakens. Maybe they're on that bridge, they talk, an explosion takes place, Han runs the other way, Kylo Ren runs the other way, and that's that. They could have set that up right then and there, and then have Han Solo's death in The Last Jedi. But that's just how I think it could have played out. As far as Episode 9 goes, this could also very well line directly up with the other description that we went over a couple of months ago about Kylo Ren, alright, as an adult of course, actually in the cockpit of the Falcon, piloting it. Maybe he goes in there and actually reminisces with the past and remembers his childhood with his father, and that's why there could very well be a potential scene where we do have a young boy, a younger version of Kylo, sitting next to both Chewbacca and his father Han in the cockpit of the Falcon. After all, there was a deleted scene in The Force Awakens in which he does do something similar, where he goes in there and he's reminiscing with the past and he remembers. But anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.